A wise person once gave me a piece of advice I'd like to share tonight, and that is, you can always just say nothing. Think about it. You can always just say nothing. Sometimes keeping the thoughts in your head is a better option. Occasions are going to come in this life when you should just shut your mouth and count your blessings. This was some of the best advice I've ever received, and it's saved me more than once. You might want to write it down and repeat it to yourself every now and then. Now, I've been wondering these past few days if receiving this advice would have helped Novak Djokovic. I don't know, probably not. Selfish arrogance is hard to beat. The Australian Open begins January 17th in Melbourne. Accordingly, the best tennis players in the world are there finishing up final preparations. Now, this is where Novak Djokovic was headed when he was hemmed up in the airport by the Australian border force for 10 hours. And why wasn't the defending Australian champion and men's #1 ranked tennis player not allowed to just waltz on in? Well, because Australia has strict COVID rules, and Novak is an anti-vaxxer, a very loud one. Mind you, he's already tested positive at least 2 times that we know of, and as such, Australia is like, yeah, you're not just coming in here, not unless you've been jabbed. Now, this doesn't just apply to him. The overwhelming majority of the players are vaxxed and boosted. But no, not this guy, no. And besides, he was issued a medical exemption from Tennis Australia, which he was, by the way, very loud about on social media. Now, when the people of Australia found out, they weren't very happy, which put a lot of pressure on the government, who told him, yeah, you're not going to get any preferential treatment here. In the words of Prime Minister Scott Morrison, there should be no special rules for Novak Djokovic at all. None whatsoever. Exception withdrawn. Visa canceled, and that should have been the end of it. But he appealed, and he won that appeal. So now he's over there showing out on Instagram, naturally, where he admitted to having mistakes on his immigration forms and to meeting with a journalist even though he knew he tested positive, talking about how he did the interview because, he didn't want to let the journalist down. By the way, the journalist wasn't even told that he'd been positive, but was told to not ask about his vaccination status. How, Sway? How? I need to know how that happens. By the way, this isn't over. The government still may revoke his visa, but I suspect they won't. They should. Yes, he's the #1 player in the world. Yes, he's going for the all-time men's major wins record. One thing he won't be going for, by the way, is GOAT status, because people need to like you for that sort of thing. But what does any of that have to do with the rules of a pandemic? Rules, by the way, that everybody else is living with. Being excellent at a sport shouldn't give you a just do what you want when you want card. It shouldn't matter how well you hit a tennis ball or throw a football. The stakes are too high right now. And by the way, if you don't agree, you can always just say nothing.